Hi everybody, I'm David. Welcome to my channel, My Yard Sale. Hey, today I want to talk a little bit about my health and my health update, a little bit about the current events and news. Obviously that's been kind of, I don't want to say exciting, but exciting, and just some general basic stuff. So today I want to talk about, to start off, this whole Trump attack thing. This does not make sense at all. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense. This kid was a 20-year-old kid. And of course, they shot him, so he's not going to be able to tell his story at all. It doesn't make sense that anybody's going to sneak into an event with Trump or Biden or any major political leader with a rifle and sneak up onto some building to be able to take a sniper pot shot. It just doesn't make sense. I've watched The Bourne Identity so many times. I know how this stuff works, and this thing just doesn't seem to be working right. There's definitely some kind of a scam happening. The interesting thing about this is that now it's like I have all these friends and people that I know that are either politically one way or the other, and that's it. There is no there's no middle space at all. It's either one or the other. And of course, I'm from the South, and I currently live in the Northeast, so I see the worst of both sides. And that's friends, relatives, neighbors. They all have their feelings, which everybody deserves their feelings, but geez, people just become some kind of horrible people when they get to talking about politics and supporting their party, supporting their team. Like, it's just crazy. It doesn't make sense. And I don't think it's because they're stupid. And it doesn't seem like it's as much about the media, because it does seem like the media is kind of gravitating a little bit towards the middle ground now. Not quite as much one way or the other. I guess that's not totally true, because if you watch one channel or one media source, that's very heavily weighted one way or the other. But for the most part, anybody that's, I guess if you're watching news, you're going to feel pretty strongly one way or the other. But if you're on TikTok and YouTube and all the Spotify, all the media outlets now, if you watch them pretty openly, you're going to get a pretty good mix mash of how people are feeling and thinking. So I just don't understand how this is going to pan out. But yeah, this whole Trump assassination thing, I mean, I don't get what this is all about. It just doesn't make sense. And of course, they killed the kid, so nobody's going to know for sure. It's like Osama bin Laden. Like, I'm still not totally sure that he had anything to do with 9/11, but nobody's going to be able to ask him because they shot him right away. It's like they hunt these people, they pin these people, they blame these people for these things. They hunt them down and they shoot them so that they can't tell their story, or you can't figure out what the heck's going on with it. Anyways, this whole Trump assassination thing. I mean, I'm glad that he's healthy and that nothing that horrible happened. I mean, I guess being shot at is horrible enough, but geez, I'm just glad that everything worked out for him. So where I live in the Northeast, and the weather is finally the sweet spot of weather where I live. It's like 60 degrees at night and 90 degrees during the day. So I can leave everything closed up and my house stays 60 degrees for pretty much the most of the day. I don't need air conditioning. I don't really need heat. It's kind of nice. So I won't be complaining about the weather today. That's great news. So my health, on the other hand. Now this is a little bit of a weird thing. So I still have all the snapping in my shoulders and my elbows. Now my ankles and my knees are starting to snap more, which when I walk around, I can kind of shake the snap out of it, but it is pretty weird. my spine still feels like it's really tense, and it's very um, I don't think tense is the right word. Like tight is the right word. It's it's almost like I try to twist my body and stretch. That wasn't my bones. That was my chair. I try to stretch my body and get the snap out of it, but it doesn't feel like I can get to it. So now this whole snapping thing, this whole bone thing, which again I think is I think it's the mass in my joints and my bones rebuilding, considering the fact I eat the same thing I eat every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, which is meat and beans and some vegetables. I mean, it's as close to, you can't get any closer to keto for, I don't think. I mean, I'm eating healthy, but I'm just having to recover from probably 20 years of eating terrible. But this whole snapping thing in my elbows was the worst because it made it so that anything I was trying to do with my hands, lifting up a bowl or trying to work around in the kitchen at all, it made it impossible because my elbows would be, there was a snap. My elbows would be so tense and stiff, it was hard to use them. Now it's weird because that tenseness has gone straight from my elbows right to my hands. Now I have to snap my hands constantly. You see, I can hear the little snaps. It's not as loud as my elbows, but it's enough to be noticeable. And it's weird because the neuropathy in my hands, it feels different. It's not like it's not like the numbness in my fingers isn't as noticeable as just the inability to actually use my hands like normal. Like trying to pick something up or hold on to something. Like I pick up this laptop that I have. I hold it sometimes. Or even my phone, if I'm trying to hold my phone. It'll slip right out of my hand. I can't even hold on to it. It's pretty annoying actually. So there's something definitely going on with my body that I don't completely understand. And it's not painful, which is good because I have read a lot about the fact that neuropathy and all these diabetes things and metabolic issues can be very painful. I guess I'm lucky that mine is not painful. It's just really uncomfortable, and it's very frustrating when like your hands aren't reliable or your arms, your elbows, they aren't reliable. You stand up and you try to walk away from the chair I'm sitting in, and it's funny because I'll get 4 or 5 steps away from my chair and I'll realize, oh, this wasn't a good idea for right this second. Because I'll be walking and like the muscle in the front and the backs of my legs, it doesn't completely work right. So if I start leaning backwards, like I don't have the strength in the muscle in the back of my leg to keep myself from just falling over like timber. It kind of sucks. So I have to be very careful and hold on to everything. I have to hold on to my bed, hold on to my dresser, hold on to the doorknobs when I'm walking down the hallway. So that is not impossible, but it is extremely frustrating. I hate it. I'll be glad when this is all resolved. My eyesight has been a weird one lately. Like I have retinopathy, more in my left eye than my right eye. Like it doesn't make complete sense to me, but if I don't stay hydrated enough, it makes it more noticeable with my left eye. And I can see clearly with my glasses on in my right eye. My left eye still seems like, it feels like my prescription isn't completely right. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. So I definitely do not understand what's going on with my eyes. Hopefully this is the tail end of my eyesight resolving for the better, I hope. So one thing that's really strange that I have noticed that I felt like I should talk about is when I get inflammation, the first thing that's affected is my scalp and my face, the skin on my scalp and my face. Like it's not like dandruff, like I have, some scalp issue. It's like definitely inflammation related, but it seems like that's the first thing that I'll be like, oh geez, now I know that I'm inflamed and I have to figure something out. Drink a lot of water. Like my scalp, my face, and definitely um, my shins. Like that will get very dry and itchy and scaly. It's really strange how that works. So I just know that I have to drink like 3 big glasses of water and just keep staying hydrated. So this whole thing with the tension in my elbows and it was my shoulders, that seems to kind of resolved. But my hands, one of the things that I have to do is I have to really stretch out several times a day. Like at night before I go to sleep, I have to stretch out. When I wake up in the morning, I stretch out, and then I'll stretch out usually a couple of times during the day. And I know that that's probably healthy anyways, but if I don't stretch out, then like I said, if I'm walking in one direction, like my muscles just don't respond correctly and I can fall over like so easily. I'm trying to avoid falling over very much anymore. I have fallen a couple times in my house, and so far I've been lucky that it hasn't been, you know, horrible, but it has not been, it's been pretty scary actually. So this stretching thing, and I was in the military, I worked out and stretched several times a day, but this stretching is different. It's not like just getting on the ground and stretching out my legs and stretching out my hands. I have to like pick the muscle specifically and then super stretch it. Like I have to really, like I don't feel like I'm gonna pop the muscle or pop the tendon, but it feels like I have to really, really push it. Like if I get down on the ground and I try to reach down and grab my toes, like I have to really reach hard and keep pushing. Otherwise, it feels like I didn't get a stretch that that makes sense. I mean, every bit of stretching I think helps, but this thing is crazy because I have to like push it much farther than I feel like I should. I don't want to rip anything, but it's like I have to push it beyond what I'm comfortable with. So yeah, the my spine, it started in the base of my spine, and then it ended up being in between my shoulders, just feeling so tight, and now it just feels like my entire spine is just tight. And I try to stretch it out. I try to get it to snap, and it just won't. It just doesn't do it. I'm still eating the same stuff. I eat meat with beans and vegetables and some spices, and I eat that several times a day. I don't hate it. I actually like that food. It tastes good, and I eat it with a couple of flour tortillas. It's like Mexican food, sort of. There's nothing to hate about that. I actually like it. One thing that I don't understand is how people can eat carnivore forever or for extended periods of time. I've eaten carnivore for a couple of weeks or a month, and I swear by the end of 2 weeks, I'm done with meat. I don't know how people eat carnivore and can continue to eat it. Maybe it's because I'm just eating hamburger meat and eggs. Maybe if I ate steaks, it'd be easier, but I do not understand eating carnivore for the long term. I can't add enough salt. I can't, I just can't do it. I have to add some vegetables, add some fruit back in. if you eat carnivore and you've eaten carnivore for more than a month, I'm curious to know how you're eating it so that it doesn't make you want to throw up in your mouth. So yeah, I'm still eating beans and meat and vegetables, which again, like I said, I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it. And I eat it with a much higher fat meat. So I'll mix it all up. And it's not soupy, but it's not like, it's like, it's almost like, it's like stew. I guess it's like stew. It's got the meat, and I do, when I make it, I put a little bit of spices and herbs, a little bit of water, so there's moisture in it, which is kind of good. It's almost like eating a taco. I kind of like that. So lately, I have been craving sweets. I mean, luckily, I have allulose non-nutritive sweetener, so I'll put that on some berries and I'll eat that. But man, like when I'm really hungry, I can definitely eat. I could eat a cupcake. I could eat a muffin. I get pretty hungry for sugar. It's not like I'm gonna absolutely go and eat a cupcake, but if I had one, I would eat it. So yeah, this craving for sweets is kind of crazy. So there hasn't been anything too exciting or positive in my life. I've been just trying to get past this whole thing where my stupid hands. Like I'm hoping that this is going to resolve soon. And my spine. Like it's weird because when you have a problem with your spine, and I've never had a problem with my spine before, but like if I'm getting ready to walk across my house or trying to do something, I can lose the strength in my spine and have to go sit down, which is not something that I'm used to dealing with. I guess one thing that is good that's happening is I am starting to get some strength back. Like I can actually see muscles in my body again, which is a good thing. I'm starting to get like bigger veins in my arms and my legs, which I think is obviously supplying my arms and legs with more blood. I think that's a positive thing. But other than what I've said, there isn't really anything else that that's positive or negative that's been happening for me. It seems like I'm just trying to get past this hurdle of all this snapping and this weird feelings in my hands and my arms. I'll be pretty happy when this kind of resolves. Hey, I appreciate all the people that have subscribed. Thank you so much. And people that are following my story. I'm hoping to have much better news soon. Like that would be a great thing. And I'd be really excited to tell everybody. Anyways, hope you're having a great weekend. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, everybody.